Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning and welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Brian Wood this morning of the Message Collective. So Brian is the Owner and Design Director. So thank you ever so much for joining us, Brian.
No problem at all.
So can I just start off by asking you to introduce yourself to us properly, and can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you guys do?
Okay, so the Message Collective is a branding and web consultancy, and mainly working with SMEs across the UK, really, but a lot in the Yorkshire area, and we help companies develop new identities, develop their existing brand, and develop new websites and new offerings, and that's generally the thrust of the business.
So how have things been for you guys over the last year? If you were to reflect on the last year, how has everything affected you?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I won't lie. It's not been all plain sailing, but it has been busy as well. So it's been a case of adapting to the change as it's come along. Some work has been cancelled. Some has been put on hold on a long-term basis, and then some clients we had to work with them to put a different slant on what they're doing, and to fit in with the new reality. So that's generally it's been a challenging time, but good, in some ways good, some ways not.
So what would you say are the main challenges that you guys have faced?
Main challenges are is trying to understand what the new reality is effectively, for our clients, not just for us, but for our clients, because we work with so many different types of business that you've got to understand their own business and understand how that's completely changed for them, especially anything in the entertainment sort of industry. I mean, they've had huge change and had to deal with a lot of challenges. And I suppose in a way the biggest thing is when a company completely pivots their business. So you've got to really rethink their whole strategy, the whole visual strategy, and how they operate online. So that's probably the biggest challenge there.
So what about wins and the positives? What have you guys been able to sort of look back on this year and say, do you know what, that was a real positive or a win for us?
I suppose that one of the biggest things is that a lot of companies have realised that they need to have a really strong online presence, which from a branding and web consultancy is a win. So people have changed their view. Companies that have had a web presence but not really pushed it have really taken that on and have embraced that and run with it. So that's a really big win. And I suppose going back to the whole pivoting the business, companies that have completely pivoted the business, the fact that we've been able to work with them and drive that forward with them has been a good thing for us. It shows that we can work with that change.
So you touched on there sort of other companies that have had to pivot. So what kind of adaptations have you guys had to make?
So I mean, a lot of the time you'll get a company ringing up and saying, I need an online shop now. That's obviously an easy one to pick out. But then other companies looking at complete change from say going out and providing events outside to actually working virtually and providing virtual events, and how that how that could look in the future, and working with them to see how you can completely pivot that from physical to virtual. So that's probably the something in that area that we've been really working with people on. So.
Yeah. And what about sort of adaptations within, sort of internally within the team or the inner workings of the company? Are there any adaptations that you guys have made or had to make that you think you might actually keep hold of moving forward?
Well, definitely some of the fact that you don't have to always have a face-to-face meeting like that we're doing now. It's you don't always have to go to that meeting in Leeds. You can have a meeting out and about and have a virtual meeting if that's if it's going to be if it's going to work. It's always nice to get together face to face, but it can be done. Then also the virtues of having a flexible, adaptable approach, I think, is going to be something that will definitely keep pushing. It is driving that. So when we speak to clients now, I think we'll probably try and aim to build that sort of resilience in right from the start, rather than reacting to it later on down the line when things change. I suppose that's probably the biggest thing from that point of view.
So how has the team adapted to sort of everything that you guys have been faced with, that we've all been faced with over the last year, and new ways of working and communicating and changing dynamics? How have they adapted to that?
Well, I haven't got a huge team, but the people that I do work with collaboratively have all embraced it, really. And I mean, there's a lot of things that have just sort of happened naturally in that respect. Everyone's just picked it up and run with it. I mean, that's that's the nature of sort of what we do anyway. Is we're always sort of trying to be creative. So it's just another form of creativity, really, sort of having to deal with the pivots and the changes and different ways of working.
And what about you? So, leading the business, driving the business forwards. How would you feel you've had to adapt during this time?
I've definitely had to be more resilient, and obviously spending more time or less time with other people is a challenge. Making sure that you get yourself out and about and get some exercise and do. Just get out into nature and get out into the world and go for a run, go for a bike ride, and just get away from the screen, because it's so easy to just get sucked into it and just stay there for a long, for far too long.
Yeah, absolutely. So with everything that you've learned and everything that you've experienced over the last year, hindsight is a wonderful thing. With hindsight, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
I suppose picked up and run with the new reality quicker. Just tried to get the learning out that other businesses have worked with, and then pass that on, because one of the things I've tried to do is make sure that other businesses can learn from the other businesses that I work with when they have been able to adapt and change. So just make that more central and more central aim, and push that out quicker to other businesses so they could have adapted quicker.
Brilliant. And what are you looking forward to the most as we emerge from lockdown? What are you looking forward to?
I think one of the main things is just getting out and seeing people, more often. I mean, I have seen a few people, but just to be nice to get out, have a few beers with someone, and friends, up and down the country, get away from the north of England, much as I like it, it's nice to go a bit further afield. So I'm looking forward to that, and maybe even abroad at some point. It'd be good.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to even the what I normally find the airport and everything quite stressful. I'm quite a nervous flyer. I cannot wait. Can't wait. Just get me there. Get me anywhere.
Yeah.
And what exciting things does the future hold for you guys? What's something that you can tell us about that you guys have got coming up?
I suppose the main things are I've been looking at my own business and how that is has needed to adapt, and I've been sort of having a good hard look at how I can push that forward and how new ways of working to streamline things can really help. So that's there's a few things in the pipeline from a and an ongoing support for clients from a marketing point of view and more of a more deep dive into the SEO side of things and developing good working practices for clients to work with. I suppose that's one of the things that's looking like it's in the next 6 months I'm going to be dealing with.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you so much for chatting with us and for sharing some of your experiences and things that you've learned over the last year. It's just so valuable to get these messages out there, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. No, nice to speak to you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.